Today we're diving into one of the most controversial and shocking topics of our time. Like seriously, this one is heavy. 9/11s. Just saying it sends chills down my spine. The images, the stories, the sheer devastation. It's almost too much to process. But what if I told you that there's more to the story than we've been told? What if the official narrative, the one we've all come to accept, is not the whole truth? We're exploring the top 5 conspiracy theories surrounding the tragic events of 9/11. Buckle up, you guys, because this is going to be a wild ride. Okay, so this first one is huge and honestly really dark. There are people out there, and I'm not saying I'm one of them, but there are people who believe the US government itself orchestrated the entire thing. I know, right? It sounds insane. Why would they do that? Well, the theory goes that they needed a reason to invade Afghanistan and Iraq to control oil, or maybe even to usher in a new era of control and surveillance. And listen, I'm not saying I believe it, but there are some fishy things, like how did the towers collapse so perfectly like a controlled demolition? And what about all those warnings the government supposedly ignored beforehand? It's just suspicious. Of course, the official reports say it was all Al-Qaeda, and they deny any involvement. They say the towers fell due to the heat of the fires weakening the steel, and that the warnings were just general chatter, nothing specific. But still, you have to wonder, right? This next one is all about the physics, you guys. We're diving deep into the mechanics and theories that have sparked countless debates and discussions over the years. Some people, and they're not just like random people on the internet, some of them are architects and engineers, believe the Twin Towers couldn't have collapsed the way they did just from the plane impacts and the fires. These professionals argue that the structural integrity of the buildings was too robust to fail in such a manner without additional factors at play. They say it had to be a controlled demolition, with explosives planted inside the buildings beforehand. The precision and symmetry of the collapse, they argue, resemble the characteristics of a planned demolition rather than a chaotic structural failure. And when you see the footage, how the towers fall in on themselves, almost like a pancake, it does make you think. The way the buildings seem to implode, falling straight down into their own footprint, has led many to question the official narrative. These experts point to the speed of the collapse, the way the steel beams were cut, and the presence of what they claim is molten metal at the base of the towers as evidence. They argue that the rapid disintegration of the structure and the clean cuts on the steel beams are indicative of pre-planned demolition techniques. They say jet fuel alone couldn't have generated that kind of heat. Jet fuel burns at a maximum temperature of around 980 to 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. But steel melts at around 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. This discrepancy has fueled speculation that additional incendiary materials were involved, but the official investigations, they say otherwise. Reports from the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, and other agencies concluded that the combination of the plane impacts and the subsequent fires were sufficient to cause the collapse. They say the fires did weaken the steel, and that the way the towers were designed with a central core and outer columns made them more susceptible to this kind of collapse. The design, intended to maximize office space, created a situation where the failure of a few critical components could lead to a catastrophic collapse. They also say the molten metal was probably aluminum from the planes mixed with other debris. When aluminum burns, it can create a molten state that might be mistaken for molten steel, especially when mixed with other materials from the wreckage. It's a technical debate for sure, but one that raises some serious questions. The differing opinions among experts highlight the complexity of the event and the challenges in understanding every aspect of the collapse. Whether you lean towards the official explanation or the controlled demolition theory, it's clear that the events of that day continue to provoke thought and investigation. Historical comparisons to other building collapses, both accidental and controlled, add another layer to the discussion. By examining these events, experts hope to gain a clearer understanding of what truly happened on that fateful day. Regardless of the technical details, the human impact of the tragedy is undeniable. As we continue to explore and debate the mechanics of the collapse, we must also remember the lives lost and the enduring legacy of that day. Chapter 3. The Pentagon, hit by a plane, or a missile. Okay, so we all know a plane hit the Pentagon, right? It was a day that changed the world forever, and the images of that tragic event are seared into our collective memory. But what if I told you that some people believe it wasn't a plane at all but a missile? Yes, you heard that right. There are those who argue that the official story doesn't add up. I know it sounds crazy, but let's dive into why some people think this way. The conspiracy theorists point to the size of the hole in the Pentagon, which they say is too small for a Boeing 757. They argue that a plane of that size would have caused much more extensive damage. They also question the lack of debris at the crash site. Where are the wings, the engines, the luggage? These are all valid questions that fuel their skepticism. The engines, the luggage, the seats, the passengers' belongings, it's almost like the plane just vanished into thin air. It's almost like the plane just vanished. And this isn't just idle speculation. There are people who have spent years researching and questioning the official narrative. Some even claim to have video footage showing a streak of light, like a missile hitting the Pentagon. This footage has been analyzed and debated endlessly, with no definitive conclusion. But the official reports maintain that it was definitely Flight 77 that hit the building. According to these reports, the plane was hijacked and flown directly into the Pentagon. They say the impact pulverized much of the plane, explaining the lack of large debris. The intense heat and force of the crash could have disintegrated many parts of the aircraft, and that the wings and engines did penetrate the building, just not as deeply. The structure of the Pentagon is incredibly robust, designed to withstand significant impacts. They also say the missile footage is just a blurry image of the plane itself. The quality of the video makes it difficult to discern what exactly is happening. It's a mystery wrapped in an enigma for sure. The debate continues with passionate arguments on both sides. Whether you believe the official story or the conspiracy theories, one thing is certain: the events of that day will be analyzed and debated for years to come. In the end, we must remember the lives lost and the impact on countless families. The Pentagon Memorial stands as a somber reminder of that tragic day, honoring those who perished. As investigations continue and new evidence emerges, perhaps one day we will have a clearer understanding of what truly happened. Until then, the mystery remains, a poignant chapter in our history. Chapter 4, Flight 93. Did they shoot it down? Now this one is truly heartbreaking. Flight 93, the one that crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, is a story that has touched the hearts of many. We're told it was the passengers who fought back against the hijackers, preventing it from hitting its intended target, which was believed to be either the Capitol building or the White House. These brave souls made phone calls to their loved ones, saying their final goodbyes and vowing to take action. It's a story of incredible bravery and sacrifice, but some people believe there's more to it than what we've been told. The official narrative is inspiring, but it has also sparked numerous questions and theories. Some claim Flight 93 was actually shot down by the US military. This theory suggests that the government made a difficult decision to prevent the plane from reaching its target, potentially saving countless lives in the process. Why would they do this? The reasons proposed are varied. One possibility is that they wanted to prevent even more devastating attacks. Another, more sinister theory is that they were worried the passengers would overpower the hijackers and expose the truth about 9/11, a truth that some believe is shrouded in secrecy and deception. The evidence cited by proponents of this theory includes the debris field, which was spread out over a wide area. This, they argue, suggests an explosion in the air rather than a crash on the ground. The wide dispersal of debris is seen as a key indicator of an in-flight breakup. They also question the lack of communication from the passengers in the final moments. Some suggest that the military might have jammed the signals to prevent any information from getting out. This lack of communication is seen as suspicious and adds fuel to the theory that something more was happening. However, the official reports provide a different perspective. They state that the debris field is consistent with a plane crashing at high speed, and that the passengers did make calls, but they were brief and chaotic. The chaos and brevity of the calls are attributed to the intense and terrifying situation on board. It's a sensitive topic, one that stirs deep emotions and raises difficult questions. While the official narrative honors the bravery of the passengers, the alternative theories challenge us to look deeper and consider the complexities of that tragic day. It's a story that deserves to be examined from all angles with respect for the lives lost and a commitment to seeking the truth. Chapter 5. Insider Trading, Did They Know? This last one is all about money, and let's be real, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. In the days and weeks leading up to 9/11, there was some unusual activity in the stock market. People were short-selling airline stocks, basically betting that their value would go down. And guess what? After 9/11, those people made a lot of money. Coincidence? Some people think not. They believe this was evidence of insider trading, that some people knew about the attacks beforehand and profited from it. Who were these people? Well, some conspiracy theorists point to Wall Street insiders, maybe even government officials. But the official investigations say it was just a coincidence, that the market fluctuations were due to other factors. They say there's no evidence of insider trading, but still, it makes you wonder. How could anyone have known? Chapter 6. What do you believe? So there you have it, the top 5 most shocking 9/11 conspiracy theories. I don't know about you guys, but my head is spinning. These theories continue to spark debate and controversy. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Was 9/11 simply a tragic act of terrorism, or is there something more sinister at play? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the most intriguing mysteries and conspiracies. Stay curious, my friends.